Hey there, everyone. I just wanted to share a little thought from Psalm 107 with you tonight. My son is at Pine Cove this week at camp, and this is one of their first texts that they dug into as a group. And so I was thankful that he's getting this kind of influence. But I thought, hey, this is good to share with because I know I oftentimes can get caught up in the thought that things just seem harder and harder the older I get, or things seem to not go my way the harder I try. Um, I can fall into the trap of comparing my life to the lives of people around me, their successes versus my successes, or what I sometimes deem as lack of success. I realize that I ultimately have to trust God and His plan for my life, but it's real easy to get caught up in the moment and forget to give thanks. And so that's where this psalm starts. It's a Psalm 107, and it's a thanks. I'm just going to read the first 9 verses, but it is a psalm of thanks that Israel is. One of the writers is sharing with us because of the work God had done in their life as a group of people. And I need to remember that I'm not walking by myself on this journey, that I have my family, I have my church family, you guys. And so I have to remember what God's done in my life specifically as an individual, but also uh, in the larger group setting. So I'm going to read Psalm 107, verses 1 through 9. It says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say this. Lord, say this. Those he redeemed from the hand of the foe, those he gathered from the lands, from the east and west, from north and south. Some wandered in desert wastelands, finding no way to a city where they could settle. They were hungry and thirsty, and their lives ebbed away. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble. He blessed them, and their numbers greatly increased, and he did not let their herds diminish." Oh, I skipped a whole entire page. Let's go back. I'm not going to re record this. Um, so we'll go back to verse 6. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He led them by a straight way to a city where they could settle. Let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love and his wonderful deeds for men. For he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good things. So I think we all know what it's like to be hungry and to be thirsty or to be in want. What I struggle with is to remember that the Lord does want to satisfy that hunger with good things and quench that thirst with good things. But I think we have to remember it starts with number one, as it does here in verse 1. It's giving thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Sometimes I know me, I'll speak for myself. I I know in my head that the Lord is good, but my thoughts don't always align with that idea because I'm not always getting what I want or my way. Often like a toddler. Um, and then I throw little baby fits, grown up baby fits. And then it says, "Let the redeemed of the Lord say this. Those he redeemed from the hand of the foe, those he gathered from the lands, from east and west and north and south. Some wandered in desert wastelands, finding no way to a city where they could settle. They were hungry and thirsty, and their lives ebbed away. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress." So here the writer is saying, hey, listen, if you know you're redeemed, if you know you belong to the Lord, you know who he is, look at what God has done in your life and speak that out loud. Don't just think about it, don't just dwell in it. Journaling is great, but let's confess to one another in our group meetings, in our gatherings, the good things that the Lord has done, the way he has delivered us and he's pulled us out of where we have been. And then let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love, his wonderful deeds for men, for he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good. Again, I think it goes back to um, me, us humans, putting aside our own desires and cravings and really realizing where God is in the picture of our story. Here, Israel, they were big whiny babies a lot. Here God pulls them out of slavery, gives them food, places to stay, promises them this brilliant future. Then the whole time they're whining and crying and say, this will never happen. And so I think there are times in life where we feel defeated in our story. And I know I get whiny and I get cryy, but we have to remember that the Lord is good and that He is the one that brings the good upon us, the blessings. And so that's what I have to share with you today. If you have any thoughts, speak out, and we'll see you guys at rehearsal.